Yeah, I want to dig into this a little bit further here because it's something that JB said, and this ties into the situation in Washington. Because Duke, we talked about this
Right.
last week. The number of times that an interim GM has made a significant move is pretty far and few between. Now, the one that stood out to me was 15 years ago. The Jerry DePoto was the interim general manager of the Diamondbacks when they fired Josh Burns, and he traded Dan Heron to the Angels for the late Tyler Skaggs and Patrick Corbin and Joe Saunders. So it's not like it's impossible for it to happen. But JB, I mean, how much do you think that ends up weighing, I guess, in ownership's desire to make a move, just knowing that, hey, like this may not be like, does it make more sense for whoever is running baseball operations, if it's Mike DeBartolo or somebody else, to make this decision in the winter? Or does he have free reign to do whatever he wants right now? And certainly, that ownership group better than like anybody other than Mike Rizzo.
Yeah, Mark Lerner's going to be involved in this, right? And he's the one that handpicked DeBartolo to replace Rizzo. That was his decision. He sat next to him in the draft, as we all saw on the great coverage that MLB Network did on the draft. And so I think that every deal that's any GM of Washington, any deal that's made is being monitored and opined by the owner. That's how it works. They're heavily involved in this. So the point is, I think if Mike DeBartolo brought an offer forward and was able to sell the return, Mark Lerner's the type that he'll pull the trigger. He's not afraid. He's a little bit different than his dad, who was a little bit more cautious on making moves. Mark will pull the trigger if it makes sense. And so I think it really depends. If DeBartolo comes up with a deal and a package that he's highly recommends, I don't think Mark would wait till the offseason. I think he would take it to move forward because they're a last place team right now. They're building a good core. They can't get over the top. Ownership is ready to spend some money in the offseason. And so, if you could turn Gore into 4 players and then have money to go replenish and replace Gore, even in free agency because the return was so good, I think he would do it. Now the question becomes, and this is the bigger question, how much would a team like the Cubs be willing to trade to get Gore? I think it has to be a deal where the Nationals win. Period. I don't think they're going to move him. They have to win the deal. And the question is, will someone do that? Gore's interesting because he's really improved. He's developed. He's going to always be amongst the leader in punch-outs. Misses bats, which you like in the postseason. So and the farm system's really strong for the Cubs. So they could pull off an Alcantara or Gore trade, really.
Yeah, I think they could. I think it's easier said than done. I for an interim guy, I think it's really hard to do. And maybe he's the guy. Maybe he can do it. If you're bringing in somebody from the outside, you'd rather have that experienced guy sell MacKenzie Gore if you're actually going to go down and do that. Somebody who has experience in doing that and opening it up to, the entire league rather than teams that are just in the market for a starter currently at the deadline. So I would be surprised if they do it. I think that they may. We've heard a lot. We've heard more chatter about it recently, but I'm still skeptical on it.